Good morning, everybody. How we doing? How we doing? It is about, I don't know, about 9 o'clock here on a Sunday, Easter Sunday. So happy Easter to everybody. Hope the Easter Bunny came out and saw all those little kitties out there. All right. So I actually already made this video, but I decided that I wanted to redo it because the first one that I did was, I think I drew it out. I tried to get too detailed with some of the stuff that I was doing. And I mentioned in the video that I was going to show some of that stuff I was talking about in another video later. But then that wasn't good enough for me. I tend to go into a little more detail than I should. So I wanted to redo this video. This is a 2-color vinyl decal video, how to do that on your Camo or on your Cameo and using the Silhouette software. And so I just wanted to redo it to make it what it was supposed to be. Okay, so I'm going to use the same design that I used in video number 1, which was the Happy St. Patrick's Day. As you can see, I have it up on my screen here. So what I'm going to do is get right into it. I'm just going to go no bones, 2-color decal. This is an easy 2-color decal. It doesn't use registration marks. We're going to show you a little hack that I learned from Matt Vassallo on the Rhinestone World about how to do things like this easy without going through the whole registration mark and wasting a vinyl. But I'm going to talk about all that in another video where I do another 2-color decal, and it's going to be a tougher one where we actually need to use the registration marks. So with that disclaimer out there from the beginning, we're going to get into this one, and I'm just going to roll right through it. So we have our Happy St. Patrick's Day. Now, if you've seen video number 1, you know what I'm about to do. I'm about to open up my trace panel over here, and I'm going to click the select trace area button, come over, and where'd my mouse go? There we go. And I'm going to just highlight the area that I want to trace. If you saw video 1, you know that we're not going to get that any better. That works for me. I don't need to adjust any of the threshold despeckle or anything like that. So I'm just going to hit trace and accept that like it is. I'm going to take my design off over to the side. I don't need it anymore. I don't need trace panel open anymore. So now I'm just going to zoom in a little on my design here. And since this is a 2-color decal, I need to break this apart. I need to release the compound path so I can pull out this. This is what we're going to make our second color. All of this we're going to make green, and we're going to put it right up there. And then this 3-leaf clover we're going to make gold. Okay, so all green, all gold. And when this is all green, it's going to look, let me make it a compound path again. When this is green, it is going to look like this. Boom. And then, of course, this is going to look like that. That's a little more yellowy gold. Now, notice both of them have red lines around them. As I said in video number 1, that is your cut line. So as long as you have those lines going around your object, then you're going to, wherever you see red lines is where your Cameo is going to cut. So if I highlight both of those and take the color away from both of them, you see I have red lines. I'm good to go. I don't need to reverse this because we're doing this on regular sign vinyl, right? So I'm just going to make sure I got everything where I want it. Right at between 0 and 6 inches and just over 3. I'll probably use, so I'm going to cut a piece of vinyl that is 6 by 4. That's why I'm not going to use registration mark, or that's why I'm not going to use a weed box. And I'm going to cut a piece of gold and put it in the upper right hand corner that is 2 by 2. So I don't need one for that either. So I'm going to take this over to the cutter by hitting send. Once I hit send, I'm going to make sure that all my lines are red. If any of them were not red, then that means something would be wonky with my settings on the right. Maybe I had it set as no cut. Maybe Cameo messed up. In any case, I just need to make sure that all the lines that were red on the previous screen are red on this screen. Otherwise, it's not going to cut them. So that being said, all I need to do is go down to my settings, and I'm going to set this for a force of 15. Now, I'm using matte vinyl, so I'm going to leave that there. I am cutting. I'm not drawing. All right. And I'm not using an auto blade. I'm going to use my deep cut blade. All right. The auto blade works great, but I switched over to a deep cut blade And I'll talk about that in another video. That's one of the things that made my first attempt at this go too long. So I'm going to go with the deep cut blade. But let me just say that if you're using the auto blade, go with its settings. They've always worked perfect for me. Okay. So on this, I have a force of 15, a speed of 5. I'm going to bump that up to 10 just because it's always slow enough as it is. I only need one pass, and we are ready to go. I'm going to hit send and send this on to the cutter, and I'll see you on another camera with the finished design. All right, welcome. So first thing I'm going to do is get my 6 by 4 inch piece of white vinyl, which is going to make up the bulk of the outline. So I got the 4 inches. Now we get the 6. I'm going to make it 6.5 actually. So I don't need that extra piece. So there is my 4 by 6.5 piece. Now I just need a piece of gold. Okay, I got my gold right here. So my gold it's already 3 inches in length, so I'm just going to cut 2 inches off of it there, and we're going to go with a 3 by 2 piece, or a 3 by 2 piece. Okay, boom. So, okay, what I'm going to do in this particular thing is I'm going to cut both pieces at one time. I'm going to use a mat, especially since I'm dealing with scraps here. I'm going to take my 6.5 by 4 inch piece and put it in the upper left hand corner, which is where you saw it on my Silhouette software. Then in the upper right hand corner, which is where you saw the gold 3-leaf clover, I'm going to put my gold piece of vinyl. So now that I have those two pieces where they need to be, upper left, upper right, I'm going to load them into my machine. And go hit send on my software. One thing I like to do, so I got my two pieces on there. A couple things. One, if it's a big complex design, I like to just weed it while it's still on my mat. That way, especially if most of the mat's covered and I don't have to worry about the stickiness of the mat hitting my hand, you know, if wanting to come up with it. But if the whole thing's covered and it's a big complex design that I'm weeding, or maybe even if it's not a complex design, if it's this big, I like to just leave it on the mat. That way it holds my vinyl down. That way when I'm picking and going through, it's staying flat, it's staying firm. It's just an easier weeding process for me. But that being here or there, some of the problems that some people have when they're taking their paper off of mats, because I had this problem when I first got started, is that it would be so sticky and tacky that when you go to take your vinyl paper off, a lot of it would be stuck to the mat. And it ended up ruining the back of it. And I ruined so many projects when I first started doing this. So what I found, a way I found to overcome that, if it's really sticky to it and it doesn't want to come up, and you've already done the towel method and everything like that to take away some of the tackiness, is take it on upside down and get it, start rolling your mat with the vinyl down, and roll the mat back while you hold the paper down, and that will 100% of the time release this without leaving any tear back. Okay, now this mat's older, I don't need to do that. Well, look, see, it started to do it right there. So maybe I do for this little small piece, but see how it fixed it? So that was a good learning tool right there. Boom. So we're done with that. Now we're going to weed these things. Okay, so now that I've gotten my clover on my transfer sheet, what I'm going to do, see, this is a white background. So normally what I would do would be take this and put it over it like that, and then just kind of put this on it and line it up and see through and put it exactly where it goes. But because that's a white background, I can't really see through this. If this was a darker background, that would be the method I would be doing right now. But since it's white, I'm going to take my clover and put it kind of split off the edge like that. What I want to be able to do is line up this heart and that heart of the clover into that part and that part. And once I get those two lined up, the rest of it will fall into place. So what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to try to zoom this in. Okay, is I'm going to take my clover, and because I have most of this paper on this transfer sheet, I'm going to be able to slide this around, and I'm kind of holding this side up, and I'm going to line up these two clover pieces right where I need them so that they are right on, evenly spaced all the way around my transfer. So if you can see that right there, it's kind of hard to see because it's white, but they're evenly spaced out there. So now all I have to do is anchor down this side and hold it down. Lift this up and pull this sheet away. And then just let everything fall down. Give it my squeegee. And now it's all going to be stuck together. And perfectly within the lines of the rest of the decal. And it looks like I missed an A there, didn't I? I'm going to get that right now. Okay, so once that's done, I can put this back on where it goes. Trim off my edges. And we have an easy two-color decal ready to go. Next up, time to put these two things on. All right, welcome back everybody. So we just finished video number 2 where we did a two-color decal. Yesterday's video number 1, was a one-color decal. Same design, one color, two colors. Now if you're thinking these decals look a lot different, then really what you're looking at only is the carrier sheet. This carrier sheet on this particular roll that we made with yesterday's has a blue background. And if you notice, it just makes that white pop out and stand out really good. What a great way to present this to any customers or potential customers. Whereas the roll I used today was an older roll that I don't buy anymore. I used it by accident actually, but it's going to serve as a good learning point because as you can see, the white doesn't stand out nearly as good. The only thing that stands out is that gold clover. So if you hand this to a customer or they're looking at it, it can be kind of hard to see, hard to read. And it might not have that, I guess if this was a house, you'd call it curb appeal that the one on the right does. Even though it's simpler with just one color, and this one has a second color, this one actually looks better just because of that blue background. It makes everything pop, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and put these on a vehicle window and show you that installation process. The installation process we're gonna do today, we're gonna do 2. We're going to do a dry installation, and then we're going to do a wet application where we apply it with using our water sprayer. Now I'm going to show you the tools and equipment you're going to need to do both of those here in just a moment before we head outside. But before we do, I'd like to remind you, please hit that like button. Most importantly, hit that subscribe button. Join Veteran Shirts and Decals YouTube channel. Follow us. I'm going to be putting out videos 2 or 3 a week throughout this entire summer and quarantine break, just to help all you beginners out there get past all those growing pains that I had to deal with when I was first coming through this business. And if you've been doing this a while, I'm a pretty good student of my product and what I've been doing. Might even help you out along the way as well. We'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.